when you have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and there are about 5,000 men, and some will say not counting women and children, and Jesus tells you, let the crowd sit down. Let them sit. Per logic, per what you have studied in business administration, what you may have studied in law, what you may have studied in accounting, what you may have studied in philosophy, per logical reasoning, it may seem silly that you are going to feed 5,000 men with 5 loaves and 2 fish. But when Jesus says, let them sit down, let them sit. When people are when you are going to distribute something, and you know that what you have will not suffice, you don't tell people to what? To sit down. You begin to share, and those who are able to come first, you give it to them, you are done. But even before Jesus multiplied the loaves, he told them to sit, because he knew what he could do. The same thing is in the first reading from Numbers 11. I love Moses. He's my model for the work of God. And if you see how today Moses is frustrated, I say, hey, God, why? Did I give birth to these people? Why? Why? Because he cannot imagine and understand why the people are still grumbling. Today they say they are tired of manna and they want what? Meat. And if you read further, we will get there. You will see how when God even told Moses, I will give them what? Meat. Moses will ask God, I have 600,000. The Israelites he was leading out of Egypt, they were 600,000 men. How do you tell me you would give them what? Meat. If God says he'll give you meat, he will. Don't be frustrated. Sometimes, of course, we are human. And when we see things with our eyes, we can't imagine that God can do it. But as I say all the time, allow God to be God. How God will do it, that is not your concern. He says, let them sit. Don't tell Jesus, fashion hoko. You don't know what you are talking about. How can they sit down? If they sit down, he says, let them sit. And the people ate and ate till they were all what? Satisfied. And even after that, 12 what? Weaker baskets. That is God. So please, myself and Pat, sometimes we think too much. We worry. He says the hair on our head are counted. God is not asleep. Psalm 121, he is not asleep. He knows what he's doing. So when things seem impossible, when things seem illogical, maybe in the convent, in a parish, in your office, please speak to God. And that is why the song Trust and Obey makes so much meaning to me. Just trust and obey. You are trusting because you know who you are following. And you are obeying because if God cannot do it, nobody can do it. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20 will tell us the things that God can do. Hey, the things that you are praying for, just a husband, you are worrying too much. God is going to bless you with what you need and even give you more than you can ask of. You are praying to travel. That is all. You may be online. All you need, you have traveled out of the country. You need your papers. You are anxious. You are frustrated. You may be following online. You are preparing to write your BEC just this morning. Hey, allow God to be God. The things that He can do for you, you yourself, you can't even imagine. Let God be God. Sit down. Trust Him. And when He speaks, obey His command. Amen.